they go?
It was okay today, but we totally in the second half.
Okay. What was the final score?
We went like 82 to 73 or something.
Nice. How many points did you get?
89.
You played good supporting well, right? How was what do you think of the All-Star game?
I didn't
Watch it.
I didn't
I feel like it, yeah. The viewership as ratings came out, and I think they're some of the lowest ever for an All-Star game.
Dunk contest was good.
Hmm?
I like the dunk contest.
You like the dunk contest? Yeah. Yeah, it was, he had his third victory in a row, is that right? Third in a row. Back to the big league, he goes. Maybe. All right, we introduced marketing research last class. We tried to understand the nature of marketing research, what is it for? Marketers love to innovate. Businesses love to innovate. They love to move into new markets so that they can expand their operations, introduce new products and services, right? And they love change. Change is good. Evolve as a company, evolve as marketers. But with that change, there needs to be good, reliable information. You can't just change based on intuition. What we think is a good idea, right? What we think is some good creativity. We need information so that we can have informed decisions backed up by some sort of data, right? And with that, we can use different methods, different instrumentations, questionnaires, surveys, focus groups, participant observation. We know that there's challenges across the world, trying to understand different meanings of the language differences, interpretations are different. What may be inoffensive here could be offensive somewhere else. People have different price points. People are not willing to give information based on their culture. How do you work around all that? Do you use secondary data that's out there from the government, census information on industries and sectors? Do you do your own original research? Do you send somebody out into the field to observe the behavior with a product, see how people use things, if they find it difficult, see if they like them? How do you frame your questions? Are they open-ended? So you kind of find information that's nuanced, has new insights? Right? Are there closed-ended questions, right? Where you have more control. You give people a Likert scale, 1 to 5. Most likely, least likely, right? Love it, hate it. Different ways, different approaches, depending on the context. What are we trying to observe? What are the information we're trying to extract? What is the problem? Right? We say we have the problem. We need research to address the problem. Problem to be entering this market, creating more brand awareness, improving the brand, right? Improving services, understanding functionality usage of a product. Do we make it simpler? Is it too complex? Right? All these things that all companies do in marketing research. So in this portion, we're going to learn how the steps in a marketing research plan, different types of data research, how we analyze this data, and the importance of effective research reports. Right? Effective research reports are saying, hey, all right, you put it into a final plan. You present it to others, and others understand the information clearly. It's simple, it's too complex. Using all this jargon that's only used in your particular field, nobody else understands. How you present it is just as important as how you collect it and analyze it. All right, the steps, right? Define the problem. This kind of corresponds to all research, right? So, as students in academia, research is probably one of the most important things in conveying some sort of knowledge that you learn. That's just not your opinion, right? So it's extremely important to know the research process. Part of the scientific method, part of contributing some new knowledge, right, to the field. So this kind of corresponds to all research, but here we're going to focus on the marketing aspect. Number one, define the problem. What is the problem? Right? Say the problem is we have low sales. We need to increase sales. Okay, increase sales. How? How do we increase sales? Well, we need to first understand why sales are up. Is it a lack of innovation with the iPhone? We have our iPhones. Apple has failed to innovate. And how many iterations of the iPhone? I don't know. What is the last great innovation with the iPhone that you can think of? So, yes. All right, maybe Face ID, right? We used to do thumb, right? Thumb or finger. Now we got Face ID. All right, Apple Intelligence, what's the other way of it? Yeah, okay, so they say, hey, AI, they have to adopt because other companies have. Usually, when we say whoever's first to market usually has the advantage, right? So Google has superior AI for its products. Samsung, they have, it's for its, and we say different operating system. Apple wants to have it for OS system, right? Anything else? So we heard AI, we heard Face ID. But if you really think about that, Apple wasn't the first to do that. Samsung probably beat them out by that, right? Using Android like, yeah, we've been here. Why have to just go that now? Right? It's finally catching up. So Apple's lacking in sales with the iPhone, right? So it needs to figure out some new ways. It has a problem. It hasn't addressed that problem. I would say some way that really excited people. Oh, you got it. iPhone. So there's a problem. We need to define the problem. Develop a research plan. How are you going to go about researching? But hey, what sort of, how are we going to, who is the population? Right? Who is the demographic that we're seeking to get information from? Right? How's this going to go? How much money we're going to spend? Right? Select the data collection method. I would say surveys, focus groups. You can set up a camera and have participant observation. Hey, let's see how people go to the vending machines in Japan. Right? In Japan, it's difficult to extract personal information from people. Collectivistic society, people were feeling too intrusive, even if it's basic questions. Here, we probably might not be so sort of offended by basic questions. Other places, people feel that you're intrusive, and they're not going to give you the answers that you want, so your research will be irrelevant. But maybe in Japan, we can just have somebody watch the vending machines, because vending machines are huge. They're almost like fast food restaurants. You can get everything, right? Full meals. That's not our culture here, but that is there. And so you're like, well, we can't get the information by asking people why and do things. So we set up observation. You got somebody watch, take notes. You set up a camera to watch how people behave at the machines. So if you're Pepsi or Coca-Cola, hey, it's a good thing for us to introduce ourselves based on how people shop at the machine. Hey, remember some other sort of examples I gave. Hey, Kellogg going to India with breakfast cereal. Doesn't really work because breakfast cereal is usually eaten breakfast usually eat hot in India. We talk about cold milk cereal, right? They made a huge mistake, and they consider those factors. They thought that they could standardize colors. Like, oh, works here, works everywhere. That's not the case, right? Different cultural dimensions that are possible. McDonald's, right? We say, hey, research because we can't introduce beef and pork in India for religious purposes, right? How do we tailor the menu so we can offer people, how do we really tailor vegetarian menus? Will it work? Will it be the same McDonald's today? And then we design the sample, right? Design the sample means like, hey, we need a representative of actual people that we're targeting. We don't need a bunch of people who don't count. Right? We don't need people who don't matter to us. We need people that matter to us. So if we get a group of people that we're studying, they have to be relevant to the population that we're targeting. Right? So we need a good sample representative. And then we need to collect it, right? How do we extract the information? How does it get back to where we need it to be, to be analyzed? In which case, that's step 6, analyze and interpret. Is in a foreign language, do we need a translator? Do we need somebody who has a local dialect sort of knowledge, right? We need to have good meanings so the meanings are the same. You can't have different meanings in your interpretation. And then we prepare a research report. Right, so for those of you who once you graduate and you get your job, if you're going to be working in business or marketing, most likely you'll be doing presentations. You'll be presenting reports. Reports of all kinds of things, depending on the department, finance, human resources, marketing, accounting, et cetera, et cetera. And that'll be your challenge. Your challenge is like, hey, here is how to present it to people, make everybody understand it as simply as what possible. Not easy. Think about if you work in an engineering department. You're talking about very technical, mathematical models being used, and technologies, and people understand the language and jargon. They're completely lost. Right? So it has to be presented in a way that makes sense. Simpler the better. Remember, if you can't teach it to a 2-year-old, you probably won't know the subject. You probably do know the subject, but you're just not good conveying information, which is different. You can know the subject, but conveying it is a different skill. Problem definition is the realization that there's an issue that needs to be addressed. Step 1. Step 2, determine what type of research is necessary to meet the established objectives. And we said primary data is original information. Right? You're not using others' information as part of this research. Right? You're sending someone out to collect the information in some way, shape, or form. Which is good. And say, hey, with that, you can ask more specific questions. Like, we can get really specific on what it is we're trying to figure out why someone doesn't like something or why people like something. So we can introduce things that will work for them. Right? We can get very specific on primary information, primary data. Some other strengths. You can structure it exactly as you want to structure it. You have control. You use the secondary information like census information. That's not in your control. Timely, current data, right? You can say, hey, there's no information out there, secondary data, and if there is, it's 5 years old, it's 10 years old. You can't really use that. It's irrelevant information. It's not in the context of modern times. Some weaknesses of primary data. Expensive. You may have to send people out, flights, lodging. You need people to go around and do this, do that. It takes a lot of time to do all of that, right? May not be generalizable beyond specific research questions. Like, hey, it answers a very specific question, but it doesn't really expand out to other concerns that we may have. It's not generalizable. We can't apply this to a huge part of the population. We can only apply to this tiny little slither of the segment. Some strengths of secondary data. Generally inexpensive or free, if it's out there. You can go on the website, government website, you can pull that information from that particular industry, that sector. You can filter things down, right? Can be accessed quickly, available through a variety of sources. Some weaknesses. May not match required parameters, can be outdated, right? Like this information is not collected that frequently, may be collected every 5 years or 10 years. Same data accessible by competitors. If it's free, everybody has it, right? It gives everybody has the same information, it gives you no competitor. That's kind of like we all read the same news. Right? Only people who read different news, probably people who subscribe to the New York Times, gotta pay. Crane's Chicago Business, which means they may have better editors, better journalists, better writers, right? So they may have more in-depth information than the average person on Facebook, Instagram, all the free news apps, CNN, Fox News, blah, blah, blah. So like there's a difference in that type of information, right? And they want some more intricate information, and there's information that everybody else can get from free. Different types of research. You get qualitative. Hey, what do you think you can get from qualitative data? That may be more superior than, say, quantitative data. What do you think? Qualitative. Qualitative information. Okay, like, good example, first-hand accounts. Right? Hey, how do you feel? Right? Like, that's qualitative. You're like, well, I feel wonderful. Hey, what do you mean by wonderful? Well, this feature, that, like this. Right, man, that's a lot of information just from this one tiny discussion, qualitative. Now, can you say it might be difficult putting that into numbers? How does wonderful equate? Does that make sense? So, but we can derive information and say, okay, now everybody said this, so obviously there's a trend, there's a pattern, there's a theme, there's a narrative here, right? The same stuff keeps coming up. There's a narrative, there's a theme. And with that theme, we can see little tiny subtle details that we probably couldn't have gathered just from pure arithmetic, just from data, right? That we could get some insights. Think about it, we put people in focus groups and we sit them all around in a table and we give them a product to say it's the new Pepsi. And we just recording them in focus groups. We're like, hey, try it, taste test it, talk about it. We start having discussions with other people, little tiny things come out of that conversation that maybe the company itself never even thought about. Wow, okay, we never thought about that. It's interesting. That was the same would go like in class, right? I give you a discussion question, you give them the groups, we start talking, and people start thinking of these little details. These two creative things, like, that was interesting. I never thought of that. Right? So you can get some insights that are pretty in-depth with qualitative. So qualitative or exploratory, we say research conducted that is more general to learn more about the industry or the market. Quantitative or descriptive, data collected to describe the situation in the market and help define an opinion, attitude, or behavior. Now we think of descriptive information or quantitative when we read about the economy. Hey, market's not doing so well, so we can take this that people in the market have a fear of inflation, a fear of a recession, right? Something to describe. We didn't get it today, numerous of why these people are really, really afraid. You can see the big pictures, that there's some sort of fear or apprehension to describe the situation. Experimental or causal, studies that define a cause and effect relationship between two factors. Cause and effect. Alright. We have two variables. Right? We can compare those variables to see, okay, when one thing happens, the other variable changes as well too. So yes, we see that there's a strength in that relationship. Maybe potentially there's a cause and effect. Now part of that is even correlational. Correlation means like this relationship between one variable or another variable, right? You can oftentimes, correlation doesn't equal causation. It doesn't really say cause and effect, but it may have enough strength for you to support having those conclusions. And then we have ethnographic. This method of collecting data that is conducted observing people's natural behavior. This might have the greatest strength in terms of data collection, right? Particularly in marketing, because you can observe body language, right, which is extremely important. You can observe conversations that people have, things that come up within those conversations. Like you can look at things that not easily picked up otherwise. Not even easily picked up when people check off boxes on a survey or a questionnaire, right? This gives you probably the most in-depth behavioral information that you can study the natural behavior process. Some research collection with exploratory. We say focus groups, interviews, we review secondary data, qualitative in nature. Descriptive research encompasses surveys and are quantitative. Experimental or causal, exposing A, B groups, right? One group versus the other, to two different scenarios, comparative in nature and ethnographic, just through participant observation. Now, how do we go about selecting a data collection method? Well, we have the systematic gathering of information that addresses the identified problems with data collection is. Observational research, data based on actions taken by those observed, unobtrusive, happens when those being observed aren't aware that they're being watched. So you can have people who know that they're being watched. Maybe in a focus group, they know that there's a recording. Maybe someone who's going to take notes. Or you can maybe have people who don't know that they're being watched. You might get a more natural response, or maybe a benefit there. Mechanical observation, use of technology. Okay. One-on-one interviews allow research to ask specific questions that match respondents' unique perspective. Right? And follow-up questions to piggyback, which is pretty good too. Hey, why do you like that? Well, because I like this feature. Ooh, interesting. So, are you saying that that feature does this for you? Well, actually, not really. Okay, cool. What does it do? Follow-up questions, right? Questions after questions after questions, so you finally lead to a very concise and meaningful answer, and then you can move on. Okay? So one-on-one interviews are good for that. You can really drive down to the source of your issues. And then focus groups, take the interview and apply to a small group of people. Anyone participate in focus group or survey? What kind?
It's for my last class, last semester, it was, leadership and management.
Did you have to review the textbook or something?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. One of your classmates in my other class, part of that research. Focus groups are good, right? You get a lot of insight, you allow people to have a conversation, you talk about the pros and cons of something, what you like, what you didn't like, you have a good information. Surveys or questionnaires, different types. We get mail surveys, right? Those have strengths and weaknesses. We get phone surveys, in person and electronic. When we say depend on your target market. If it's an older group of individuals as part of your target market, they may not use the technology like that. They may have a preference. They check their mail, they sit down, they open it, go through it, and they are more accustomed to responding via mail, right? You may use those types of surveys, right? If it's a younger group of individuals, like they see a piece of paper come in the mail, it's not some bills or anything important, throw it in the trash. You're not gonna send those target market mail surveys. You may do electronic surveys, right? Or phone surveys. Some people have a preference for in-person surveys. Maybe they work from home, right? Maybe there's a knock on the door. Maybe they'll give time to someone doing it in person. Let's grade some weaknesses. So let's go through these. Mail surveys, the strengths, ability to reach large population. You might be able to send it out pretty cheaply to 100,000 people via mail. Right? You might get a good response rate, maybe even if it's 15%, like plus 15,000 people that respond, that's pretty good research. Right? And it's convenient. Weaknesses, time delays, it can be expensive, right? Depending on what you use, like it could be a lot of paper, you'll charge a lot to print and ship. Phone surveys, the strengths, respondents can ask questions in collection in real time, right? You're getting real-time information, real-time responses. Weaknesses, time intensive. People don't answer calls from a number they don't know. So good luck trying to get you to pick up from a number that they don't know. Right? You just see some weird number, you just think it's a scam or a bill collector they're trying to avoid, and you know that. In-person surveys, respondents can ask questions. Follow-up questions can be asked. Weaknesses, time intensive, it does take a lot of time to do that. People avoid talking with strangers, right? So you see maybe those campers out on the street. You see those people standing out on the street trying to get your attention to answer some questions. Hey, you got a minute? Hey, where you going? Hey, I like your shoes. Hey, okay. You see how difficult it is to get people to stop. People are kind of annoyed in some regard. Or people are friendly or don't have anything to do and feel that they're healthy. You have those personality types, they usually stop talking. But most of us are listening to our AirPods, headphones, talking, or just put our fake and put our heads down and just walk past it. So difficult to get people that way. Electronic surveys, less time intensive than other methods, right? You just send a text message with a link really quickly, so like tap on it, take it to the website, quickly click out, it's done. Right? Less expensive too. You don't need to print out paper and mail things. Some weaknesses, identification as spam. We are reluctant to tap on links that we are unfamiliar with. Right? We think it'll take us to a website, it's going to steal our information. So that does have a low response rate. So you say the good thing is you can send it out to a million people. Bad thing is maybe less than 1% actually respond. Right? Be like, well, less than 1% still decent number of people. works for us, right? That's the way we go. Types of samples. When we say our sample represents a larger population, so we want to have a good representative sample. We got our probability sample, simple random sample. Right? We say, hey, you know what? Here's a population. We want to sample random. We don't want to handpick the people that participate in this. It'll be random. We think that conveys better information, more natural information than trying to control what we give you the information to cover. Right? We have things like stratified random sampling, which we kind of break into groups. We take those random samples and delineate them into other groups. Non-probability sample, right? Convenience sample and judgment sample, right? So we got this kind of intuitive stage where we feel that we get people to participate, and then we just maybe predict, it's just quote. But you like the statistics, maybe, like that. So the probabilities won't come out predictable. But not predictable, then not really that good. Because here we're trying to predict behavior, predict why things happen, right? So we want to be predictable. So now probability samples are probably a little bit less effective, but you really need the convenience, you don't have the time, or you just want off of judgment. So here we say, every member of the sample has an identified likelihood of being selected in the probability sample. With simple random sampling, not only one does every person have an identified likelihood of being selected, but every person also has an equal chance of exclusion. Right? Which means that for our participants, they could either be in, they could be out, but the probability of that is equal. Equal chance of participating, equal chance. Stratified with a population divided into group by category and then a random sample of each category selected to participate. Non-probability, situation in which each potential member of the sample has an unknown likelihood of being selected for the sample. With convenience, we use non-scientific methods of picking potential research participants. In judgment, determine if they meet the individual needs the criteria. Right? We believe you meet the criteria. We don't have any scientific information to back it up, but it's intuitive. And then how do we collect the data? Through data collection, we use gathering information from a variety of sources that will satisfy the research objectives, right? Mailing surveys, making phone calls, interviews, and experiments. And then how do we go about analyzing and interpreting? We say we distill the information into more understandable and actionable format using basic statistics such as the following: mean. Right? Mean is the average of all within that sample. Right? Calculate them all, divide them by the number. Median, right? Median is the middle, right? Calculate them all, whichever one is the middle of those calculations would be the median. Mode represents qualitative and quantitative data, representing the most frequent number, mode. Right? So we think of what's the most frequent response that we get. Right? The most repeated response. And then cross tabulation, used when two numbers need to be compared. Right? So we all done Excel, probably all use Excel, but we use cross tabulations, where we're comparing one thing to the next, versus a column versus a row. Same thing we can do here when we're analyzing our data. And then next we got to prepare a research report, right? We say, how do you prepare it? Well, is it in a graph? Is it in a chart, pie chart? Is it just in verbiage? Is it just words? How do you go about describing the stuff? And that's the tricky part. You're like, oh, you put some really good graphs up there. Mentally, it makes more sense. Words may be a little bit too much, right? You lose the attention span. Words. characteristics themselves, we show it to people. When we tell a story, we can put it in a narrative. Like we have a storyline as part of the research report. So we need to create plans, initiating action. You know, here's the results, here's the conclusions, and this is what we think we should do based on these conclusions. What are the actions as a marketing organization, as marketers, should we take based on the conclusions, the results of this particular data? Here's what we think we should do. Let us dive into these actions. And then we reviewing for missing answers. Hey, here's what we couldn't find out, right? There's limitations in everything. There's no such thing as perfect information. It doesn't exist. So we say, hey, here are things we could not answer. Here were things that are limited based on what? We didn't have enough money. We didn't have enough time. We weren't able to reach enough people that we wanted to reach. These were the barriers. These were the issues, the process. These are limitations. Right? That is sort of the best approach with research because it conveys honesty. Right? You're not fudging numbers. You're not trying to persuade the boss that you should introduce a new product or improve the brand. If the data doesn't show that. Right? Some people do because they're like, hey, it's based on my commission. Right? What about my bonus or something? Right? So we have to usually have some good sort of missing answers. It's more honest that way. Can't solve everything. And then quantifying the data, right? How do we measure? How do you take answers that people give and put them into a measuring sort of system, right? Awareness, measure responses who are aware or have used the product or service. We have things like unaided and aided. Respondents recall when asked a question, or aided respondents choose from a prompt list. Right? There's a difference when we say recollection, recall, or recognition. Recognition would be a multiple choice. A through D, you C, the correct answer. Yes, I can recognize it. The word recognition. The right answer. Right? Recall. What is the capital of Madagascar? It takes us a different type of information. If you recall, you're like, well, that one's a little bit more, has a little more strength to it. The person got to recall that's your word. Remember, it's not in front of their visuals with respect to they see the answer, right? So it's a difference. So that's how we go about even with aided and unaided, right? Recall versus recognition. Customer satisfaction measures how satisfied the respondent is with the product service based on a score from 0 to 100, right? 0 to 100, how would you rate the score? And you may think, why 0 to 100? Why not 0 to 10 or 0 to 5? When we talk about satisfaction of a product or service. Why 0 to 100? Why bigger numbers versus smaller numbers? What do you think? Hey, think about that, right? Let's say you go on a bunch of first dates. Right? Go on 20 first dates. And the whole thing was like, yeah, oh man, 1 to 10, what was it, right? You're like, oh, okay, it was, on average, it was a 7. Average. I'm like, okay, you try to picture that. Like, oh. I guess they're all okay, right? But like that doesn't really tell the story of 20 first dates, right? It's just a very general perspective. Now, if you want to see like more in-depth on how these concrete dates go, maybe put it at 0 to 100. Like that, if you get something maybe, let's say 56, and then you're like, that changes it. Cause it's a 7, 0 to 10, it's up, 70%. That's pretty okay. And if 0 to 100, you're like, oh, that's like 56. That's not bad. Right? To a degree. So you can really you can extract more types of information, even by spreading out the numbers. But then again, bad thing is like, all right, that's a lot of information, right? It may be kind of hard to truly differentiate. Remember we said we want to keep it simple? Right? You don't want to confuse your bosses or your shareholders, your stakeholders too much. So I don't know. It maybe depends on the context, right? 0 to 10 or 1 through 5 by 10. Customer acquisition cost measures how much it costs to gain a new customer. Like in order for us to get a new customer, we have to spend X amount of dollars to get a new customer. We're not sure if we can retain this new customer though, right? Customer lifetime value. But just on that one transaction, it may not make sense to try to get a new customer. It's costing us more money to get them than it is what we can buy. Right? So you're like, well, you kind of say, or maybe it's low. You know, the customer acquisition cost, you say, oh, it's very low. We need to go after this because this is a huge profit margin. And if we were to retain them, customer lifetime value, even more profit margin. Customer effort score measures how the customer feels in terms of whether it's easy or difficult to do business with the company. This was a little tricky, right? Easy or difficult to do business with the company. We would have to use in this specific type of implementation to that, and even how we interpret that into some real data, how they deal with us. I don't know, maybe we do phone calls, maybe you just ask direct questions, right? And you can interpret it in that way. These many people say because of this factor, these many people say because of that, these many people, you maybe rank the top 5 reasons why it's difficult to do business with us, the top 5 reasons why it's not. All right, here's our discussion questions for today. As a group, discuss 2 reasons why quantitative research data is better utilized to measure a population's attitudes and potential responses to new product releases and quality. Okay. We're talking about a new product release. Why would we favor quantitative? Give us 2 reasons. Why would we favor quantitative and qualitative to measure a person's attitude about a new product being released? Discussion question 2. Discuss 2 reasons why qualitative data is most often collected to provide deeper insights into consumer behavior. Think of 2 examples. Come up with these 2 examples for qualitative too. I'll give you about 4 or 5 minutes to do that with your group. And so 2 reasons each for each one, for quantitative and qualitative. And here's some examples. gonna need additional time. All right, let's start over here. Quantitative.
So quantitative research is better for like a population attitudes, because you got like this big like population that you need to study, and the number is it's like easier to generalize. If it was qualitative, you have to have symptomatic response. They're all a little different. It's a lot easier to just make a general assumption with
All right, so here quantitative is easier to generalize a particular behavior.
It helps when you can like put it on a pie chart or a data chart, just so that it's easy to sort of understand.
All right, able to take a large amount of information, generalize it, and put it into a diagram, chart, or something easy to understand. Okay, qualitative?
For qualitative, it's more like understanding the consumer's behaviors and it has a lot more nuance. So it's not like you put a number on it, it's more like you have to figure out the specific selections. Okay, why do people like these apples? Is it because it's crunchy or is it because of the size or something like that? So it's just nuance.
Nuance. Hey, we like the texture. We like the color. I like the sweetness of the apple. I like the bitterness of green apples. Right? Different insights, right? Little nuance things that you get there. All right, over here. We think of examples to go along with.
Yeah, so for quantitative research, we said this would be like most beneficial for your like stats and predictability. So we kind of just related this to our company that we're doing, just because it's like they already have like a broad understanding of their like, business model. So we said if they were to use quantitative research, that allows them to collect from like a large sample size. So whether that's what like online purchases are being made through your web data, or different age groups that are coming in, like what their main consumer is or target market. And then for quality data, we said this is more so how you're going to be able to reshape your product and service, so like more of the innovation side. And that's how we talk about online reviews, because people are going to be openly talking about your business. You're going to want to either continue doing the good things, or you're going to want to restructure the bad, or what things people are going to like, so that would kind of let you build on your product line or services you offer.
All right, excellent. You're saying, hey, qualitative helps us reshape our brand, our image, new product, innovate, even with the use of reviews. Like, well, reviews could be very long, they could be entire paragraphs and all that. How do you delineate all of that information and make it cohesive to make sense and say, we need to make these changes based on these themes and patterns stated in their Google or Yelp reviews, right? Whereas quantitative, you're like, oh, the quantitative can sometimes you can come in easy. You just have a quick little feedback thing, or get information how people using your website, looking at the clips, how long they stay on the video, how long they are on your website, right? You can take all that information, gather it quickly. Here.
For quantitative, you said, since whether the product says like the releases and stuff, but the new releases, like quality, very much, feelings about the food, so it's better to do a wide range of speed, feel, and, also with quantitative stuff,
All right, so like, hey, if it's new product release, we don't need specific what you love about it. We need general information. Thumbs up or thumbs down, right? By how you feel about it. Okay. And then qualitative?
Yeah, we basically said like it's easier to tell a story with the emotions and feelings rather than just giving numbers or little bits of feedback. So
Like emotions would really drive the behaviors of making purchases, right? If you don't understand emotions, which are complex, right? Like, what's your definition of love? We all come up with a different definition, right? So we would have to kind of love, what we love. What do you mean by that, right? So we want to get more introspective about that. Okay, and next week.
For quantitative, you said there'll be like more emotions and the activities in general, so we're doing a broader response to see how like it relates and affected, and like how much like people do like it. And then for qualitative, we just did like the in-depth version of like what we actually need to change and what like needs to happen instead of like a broader insight like the quantitative.
Alright, so it's, maybe qualitative is more forward thinking. Like, hey, we got the basic information with the product that we've worked out with quantitative, and we're gonna kind of roll with that for a while. But with qualitative information that we get, we know that in the future, we should probably start putting some money towards making such and such changes for the long term perspective. In the back, if you could think of maybe one each.
So what I thought, for, quantitative, that businesses can compare results like over months or even years. So, for example, like a lot of phone companies check their like satisfaction based on the old model and then compare it to like the new model. And then for qualitative, data, it understands things like it helps brands connect more with customers. Like this, like many of us said, it covers emotions or motivations. For example, a car dealership interviews buyers like why you like certain features about this car. So quantitative research, it helps to get numbers, and then it helps to like do large scale predictions. And then
I mean, those are good, motivations and drives, right? Like, how do you understand people's motivations and drives to participate in something, or to do something, right? That's really good information, because you get people to act. How do you get people to act? All right, and then lastly, we'll cover ethical issues. Ethical issues includes the use of descriptive practices such as gathering information for uses of in research. Hey, you lied. You said it was just for this research. Now you're also using my information for some other stuff. By the way, guess what? There's some other companies that need to research too. Not only did you use my information for research, which you said you were only using for, I thought I was participating with, you're gonna sell this research that you gathered to other companies and make money off of me. This very research. Right? Like, hey, it might be unethical. Company kind of backhanded. Do it. Other things, you know, maybe you're being targeted for other reasons, like, oh, you can, guess what, we can also use this information for this, and that. Invasion of privacy can be overcome by using anonymous data and keeping confidential information visually protected. Important, you're like, yeah, I wanna participate in research, but I have no idea where you're storing this information. You release inform us where you're gonna store my information. Right? Is it somewhere secure? Will it be wiped out? Typically, companies are, have to wipe out the data at some point, right? So it's not just out there forever, not like permanent sort of thing. And keeping things anonymous, right? Not having leaks. Imagine if you gave your opinion on something that was religious, something political. You're like, yeah, those private. Pay Twitter, right? I pay the premium so I can hide my stuff. Put a bunch of racist stuff, a bunch of vulgar stuff, a bunch of blah, blah, blah. Oh, now I'm exposed, right? Now you run for mayor, senator, and president. How did you get this? I was protected. Privacy, right? Privacy matters. Breaches of confidentiality involve using confidential data in an unethical manner, such as sharing personal information or fellow to protect. All right, and here's our last question. Research codes of conduct published by the AMA, the American Marketing Association, that we learned about, and the Association for Public Opinion Research, Council of American Survey Research Organizations, and the Marketing Research Association in order to define standards of ethical behavior. All right, well, the questions discuss three overlapping areas these organizations have identified. All right, we want to answer that, because we may have to look at these organizations. We want to answer that. All right, that is it for today. Any questions before we get out of here? All right, everyone, have a great weekend, and I will see you on